Hello, my name is Chad Meadows, and this is a short video about the draft zoning map that's being prepared for the Recodify Cashiers project. I'd like to take the next 10-15 minutes, talk with you about the Recodify Cashiers project, the zoning map, and some opportunities for participation in the coming days. Recodify Cashiers is a project undertaken by Jackson County in cooperation with the residents and landowners of the Cashiers area to refine and update the development regulations for the Cashiers regulated district. Now, the project has 6 basic goals. The goals include implementing the small area plan and some of the ULI report recommendations, protecting community character, fostering more sustainable development in the Cashiers area, ensuring the new standards are fair and predictable for everyone, residents, landowners, and developers. Ensuring the new standards are legally defensible, that they'll stand up in a court of law, and then finally ensuring that the new standards are practical to administer. Some of the anticipated outcomes from the Recodify Cashiers project are some adjustments to the development review procedures, which are included within the Jackson County Unified Development Ordinance. Some new development standards for the Cashiers area in particular, to be contained in Section 9.3 of the Jackson County Unified Development Ordinance. And then finally, an updated zoning map for the Cashiers regulated district. Now, while work on the draft standards continues, the county wanted to let landowners in the Cashiers area know as soon as possible about potential zoning map changes. About 600 or so landowners received letters like the one on the screen. This is letting people know that there are some proposed zoning map changes that are being anticipated for land in the Cashiers area. And folks have some questions. So we wanted to take a chance to explain the project and the methodology that we're working on to prepare some of the draft proposals for the zoning map. This slide shows the current zoning in Cashiers. Cashiers is about a square mile in size. It's focused on the intersection of Highway 64 and Route 107. 2 zoning districts. There is a village center zoning district, identified in the darker orange on the screen, and then the Cashiers General Commercial Zoning District, which is sort of the pink that's shown along the roadway corridors. Now, this slide also shows a yellow dashed line. That's the boundary of the Cashiers Small Area Plan that was adopted by the county a couple of years ago, and that has given some of the policy guidance suggestions for the Recodify Cashiers project. So these are the current conditions. This is where we are today. Land within the Cashiers regulated district bears one of 2 different zoning designations, either village center or general commercial. I'll note that both of these zoning districts are commercial in nature. Now, this is the proposed zoning map. Okay, same general area, same boundary. No new land is being added as part of the project. But there are some differences, some changes that are being suggested. First and foremost is a departure from the 2 zoning district approach that's in place today to something a little bit more broad. Specifically, the inclusion of a residential zoning district, which is shown in yellow. Designation of a non-residential zoning district, which is shown in red on this map. And then finally, a mixed-use zoning district, one that includes both residential and non-residential on the same parcel. And those lots, there's a smattering of them, and they're shown in purple on the map. In terms of key changes, obviously we're abolishing the current village center and general commercial districts in favor of 3 new zoning districts, either residential, non-residential, or mixed use. We're also suggesting the addition of a conditional zoning district. Now, no lands on the zoning map have this designation yet because the conditional rezoning process is not in place. It's not codified. But development that would be proposed if these changes get adopted, would need to follow the conditional rezoning process. By development, I mean individual buildings or groups of buildings that occupy 20,000 square feet in size or more, or that generate over 1,000 trips per day or over 100 trips in the AM or PM peak hours. So the most intense forms of development that might be proposed in Cashiers would need to pursue a conditional zoning district designation and would be reviewed and decided through that process. Finally, the marketplace site. This is a proposal that is in review now. There has been a special use permit application submitted for the marketplace site. No idea at this point about whether or not that will or will not be approved. But regardless, this area will be updated on the zoning map before the map is adopted. So let me talk a little bit about the methodology that we used to establish some of these designations. Residential, the yellow on the map. Any lots that are in place today that include a yellow color are designated for residential. And if you have a lot that has an existing single family home or other residential use on it today, then that lot was designated on this draft map as residential. Vacant lots that have no development on them and that do not have frontage on an NCDOT street are designated residential as well. So what's an NCDOT street? That's Highway 64. It's 107. They include streets that are owned and operated by the North Carolina Department of Transportation. They are state roadways. And if you have a vacant lot that does not have frontage on a state roadway, then that lot was designated residential. Now, I will mention there are a handful of lots included in the area, like one at the extreme eastern end of the district on the north side of Highway 64 that did get a non-residential designation. That particular site is designated for water utilities in the near future. There are also a handful of sites in the core area of Cashiers that, while they don't front an NCDOT street, the small area plan that was adopted for Cashiers designated those lots as non-residential, and that designation is reflected in this draft zoning map that's before us today. So that's it for residential. If you have a home or residential use today, you were likely designated residential. If you were vacant but don't have frontage on an NCDOT street, you are also designated as residential. Now, non-residential. These are the lots that are shown in red. Non-residential includes office uses, commercial uses, industrial, institutional. Okay, lots with an existing non-residential use are designated as non-residential, whether that use is a governmental facility or a commercial establishment or an institutional use like a church. If that use exists today on the lot, then you were designated as non-residential. Now, vacant lots with a frontage on an NCDOT street are also designated as non-residential. So you could have a lot that doesn't have anything on it today, but that fronts an NCDOT street. And if you do, then that lot would be designated for non-residential development. Last is the mixed use category. Again, these are the lots that are shown in purple. Mixed use is a lot that includes both a residential principal use and a non-residential principal use on the same lot. Now, the Kessler site is designated as mixed use because it has an approved special use permit, even though it is vacant. No other vacant lots in the Cashiers area received a mixed use zoning designation. Those lots were designated either residential or non-residential based on their frontage characteristics regarding a NCDOT street. No other vacant lands were received the mixed use designation. I'll note that the marketplace site does not yet have a designation since it is still in review, and we will see how that project progresses before making a designation for that site. I want to stress that this is a draft zoning map. It's been provided to landowners to inform them about the project and as an opportunity to stimulate discussion about the methodology that we used and the proposed designations that are put forward. This is not the end of the process. In fact, it's only the beginning. We want to discuss proposed designations with landowners and make sure that they understand what's being proposed and why, and to have a discussion about whether or not they agree. What are the next steps in the process? Well, there'll be a zoning map workshop scheduled for Wednesday, the 21st of August at 5 p.m. in the Albert Carlton Cashiers Library at 249 Frank Allen Road. Hopefully you'll have time to join us. Please come to the zoning map workshop, learn a little bit more about the zoning map, the methodology that we use to make the designations, and about the Recodify Cashiers project in general. Now, if you can't make that workshop, there are opportunities for office hours. The consulting team will be in Jackson County between Tuesday and Friday, the 20th through the 23rd of August. And we are more than happy to have a face-to-face office hours meeting with you or conduct a telephone conference with you. If you have questions or want to share some additional information, encourage you to contact the Jackson County planning staff to schedule your meeting. That telephone number is 828-631-2261. And finally, I'll just mention that there will be more opportunities for discussion. The county and the consulting team, we're committed to an open, transparent, fair process. We have moved forward very slowly and tried to make everybody aware of the multiple opportunities to be involved, to learn about what's proposed, and to have some impact on the outcome. We'll return to the county in September and October of 2024. There'll be more opportunities for interested individuals to share their thoughts and share their concerns. And I hope that you'll avail yourself of those opportunities. Thanks again for your interest and attention. I am Chad Meadows, and I hope that you'll join me at the Zoning Map Workshop on Wednesday the 21st at 5 in the library. In the meantime, please check out www.recodifycashiers.com for more detail and information. And get in touch with county staff if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope to see you in Cashiers next week.